I'm working as a sound and video technician at the Grillo-Theater in Essen. The Grillo-Theater is one of the oldest theaters in the Ruhr area. It's founded 1892 and I'm working since 2000 here. Originally it was a threefold stage with opera, dance and drama, and since 1989 it's the drama stage in Essen. We have a main stage, the Grillo-Theater called, and our newest stage is renovated in 2023. It's the ADA. It's a small experimental stage for few experimental formats. The ADA is a small flexible stage.
One of the projects that we started with was the Grillo-Theater when the ADA stage was added to the main stage. In the main stage we had the privilege of having been introduced with the opportunity to install an ORIS system, and for the ADA stage there was the requirement of a flexibly applicable system that could be used in a not predefined location in the theater, so that the orientation of the play could be matched, and that was a lot easier done with a AVATUS system, which is only communicating over IP with the central core. So that is basically combining the benefits of a flexible Nexus system, which is, as I mentioned, used in the main room, with the benefits of a flexible use and a more compact surface. Therefore, the decision was taken to use an AVATUS system in the ADA.
It's not fixed where the stage is located, and you can have a center stage or a cross stage or a head stage. We needed here a flexible solution for audio and video. That's why we installed network-based systems for audio and for video. For audio it's the Nexus with an AVATUS desk, and for video it's the Stagenet system. Since 2002 we're working with STAGETEC products. In 2002 we installed a Cantus Nexus system on the main stage, and it was renovated 2015 to an AVATUS Nexus system. We are very content with it. The sound is great and it's very reliable. So we are convinced STAGETEC users.
One of the biggest advantages that was introduced at day one of STAGETEC's existence 30 years back was the separation of the routing system, Nexus, from the consoles, so that you can install your infrastructure that you need in your theater, and that can be then matched and adapted to the size requirements. That is then separated from the operational interface for the users, which then can be installed in several places, and it can be multiples of all of which have access to the I/O of the routing system. That is one of the advantages which makes it possible to grow with the demand, so it can match the requirements of small, medium or large installations.
The AVATUS is based on a touchscreen, but you can also use it as a direct access console with a central channel strip, or you have your important parameters for every channel differently configured on the encoders. You're not fixed how to use it. You can use it in a very spontaneous way. The idea of using the console as a remote control was always a benefit of the STAGETEC products. The audio is calculated in DSP cards on the Nexus Star routers. The console itself is just a remote control, and with the AVATUS, STAGETEC just thought this to the end. You don't even need the console to work with it. You can control the console, the virtual console, with an iPad or with a browser. a device of your choice. Here in the ADA we have the problem that the front of house space has to be very small. Therefore in the rehearsals I always use the console, the hardware console. But if it's not needed, because I just have some music to play back, I can make it with an iPad. That's the killer feature of the console for our space here, that you just can use a browser.
With the introduction of Nexus, Stagenet actually changed the way that people could use their systems, their infrastructure, because it allowed the operators to think in signals rather than a variety of audio formats. Nexus was taking care of that, and Stagenet is taking that one step further, as it is combining audio, video or control in one common platform. It is no longer a signal that comes from a certain background and has to go to a different. It's just data, and as such it can be dealt with independently of its source and independently of its destination, also even independently of its manufacturer, meaning it can combine different manufacturers choosing the same standards. ST2110 based systems can be happily working together, controlled via Stagenet.
The rehearsals are getting very creative and fast. The video designers just sketch up the content, and you need to show it. The director wants to see it. And so in the routing I just set up a converter for the video designer, and he plugs his laptop in, and with just a fingertip on the iPad I can route him on the projector. And the director can see what the video designer has imagined for this scene. And if we continue working on a next scene, which is also fixed in sequence or content, I can switch back to my playback system. So the Stagenet is very flexible. Just decide within the converters if a data port is an input or an output. It's very easy to set up. You just have to drag your source to the destination and you're done with it.
Of course, in the background, there are happening very, very complex events, but all of this complexity is taken away from the operator, and the idea is that the operational interface is as easy as can be, with a simple drag and drop that you are probably familiar with from your iPhone, and that is then taken also into very complex routings of audio and video. And in the ADA here we have actually only video routing, but again it would be easily to be expanded for audio routing as well.